Howdy, folks. I'm Jiminy Cricket.
I'm Amber.
And here's your conscience. Don't worry, we won't lead you astray. Whenever someone's like, don't worry, that's immediately when you start worrying.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't worried about you being my conscience before, but now I'm terrified of the idea. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Inviting My Fiance's Younger Sister to Our Wedding? And there are some really terrible content warnings here, so I will actually say content warnings today. It does involve child abuse and neglect and ableism and emotional abuse, borderline gaslighting, some pretty heavy things there. I am a 25-year-old female, and I'm engaged to my fiancé, a 32-year-old male, and we've been dating for 4 years. Before getting engaged last year, we've always gotten along well with each other's families and celebrated holidays together. Both of our families were happy when we announced our engagement. I recently found out that my fiancé actually has a 15-year-old younger sister, we'll call her Anne, who I've never met despite her living at her parents' and me visiting often. When I found out about her during a family dinner, they glared at me and coldly said that I shouldn't mention her and that I should forget about her. The intense response kind of shocked me, so I dropped the subject, but I tried to talk about it with my fiancé after we got home. He brushed it off and said that Anne doesn't want to be a part of the family, so she's not allowed to join any family events or gatherings until she decides to talk to them. Maybe because I'm genuinely a curious person, but something just felt off. Even at my fiancé's parents' home, there are pictures of their children everywhere, but there's just not a single picture of Anne. Well, a few days ago, I contacted Anne, saying that I would love to get to know my future sister-in-law. We met up at a cafe, and she's such a sweet girl, but it turned out that she's mute. She can hear, but she just can't talk. Her parents got it into their heads that she is able to talk, but just chooses not to because there's no way a child of theirs would have a disability. So they excluded Anne from the family until she talks. I talked, and she wrote, I don't know sign language, and I really feel sorry for her. I invited her to my wedding, telling her that we would love to see her there. When I later told this during a family dinner with my fiancé's family, they blew up, telling me how dare I talk to Anne and to revoke my invitation because if Anne doesn't want to talk to them, then she doesn't deserve to be a part of the family and she shouldn't be allowed to join in the family events. They told me that I shouldn't stick my nose into their family business. My fiancé sided with his parents, telling me to just forget Anne existed and apologize to his parents. This angered me because I thought my fiancé would have my back, and I yelled at them that I'm not going to uninvite her, that she deserved to be treated better. Since then, my fiancé has been constantly telling me that I'm behaving like a child, throwing a tantrum, and to apologize to his family for my behavior, but I just can't accept the way that Anne is treated. It also made me worry that if we end up having children, would my fiancé treat our child the same if they ended up having a disability of some kind? Some of my friends are also saying that I should just let it go and not to overreact too much, that every family does things their own way, so I should just apologize and do as they tell me to prevent my relationship from suffering. Am I the jerk for inviting Anne to my wedding after having learned how my fiancé and his family thinks about her? All right, folks. Jerk or not the jerk?
I mean, I think there is a much, much bigger issue here than the wedding. Like, OP, why did you not immediately dump this guy when you found out that he was treating his sister so badly?
Well, okay, one, get new friends.
Yeah, anyone who says that, oh, well, this is just how families handle things, this is abuse. What they are doing is 100% abuse.
2, in 4 years of dating your fiancé, that means that she was 11 when you first started dating your fiancé. You have never met Anne? This just goes beyond, like, absurd. This is like locking a child away in
this is literally what they used to do in the Victorian era. Is, they'd have rooms where they'd squirrel away the disabled people so no one had to see them. And it's really, really gross and awful and ableist. And, like, I would recommend calling Child Protective Services ASAP because this cannot be a healthy environment for her.
Yeah, and even if child protective services can't do anything because there may not be like physical or anything, any kind of abuse that they can do anything about, you might be able to help Anne get emancipated. And if you can get her emancipated, then she can come and live with you or some other trusted relative or something like that, because this is not a suitable environment for a child to grow up in. Like, they are literally abusing this child, and this needs to end. It needed to end a long time ago. And I can understand OP being confused about the situation. They've been dating someone for 4 years. That's a long time to just kind of like immediately drop a relationship. But this is something that you should drop a relationship about.
Yeah, and 100%, if you have a disabled child, he will do this sort of thing. He has shown that he does not care about disabled people.
Yeah, 100%. They are bad people, and you do not want to be tangled up with bad people like this. So this is a terrible situation. I feel so bad for OP here, but anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, speaking of weddings, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for opting out of my best friend's wedding because they didn't invite my girlfriend? Fake names. I'm a 28-year-old male, and my childhood best friend Brad, a 28-year-old male, is getting married in late May to Vicky, a 26-year-old female. Well, a week ago, on Easter, I received his wedding invite, which only listed my name, but not my girlfriend's, Mary's, a 28-year-old female. For context, Brad, Mary, and I have known each other since high school. We were in the same friend group. Mary and I live around 2 hours away from Brad and Vicky. Because Mary is a nurse, she doesn't always have the time to visit Brad and Vicky with me, so I go alone most of the time, but when she's able, she joins me. Mary has met Vicky and seen her around 10 times in the past 4 years that Vicky has been with Brad. Mary and I have been together for 6 years total, and we do plan on getting engaged and married once we are more financially settled. So I asked Brad if Mary is invited, and they just forgot to mention her name, to which he replied that Vicky is very strict about some rules, and in order to cut down on costs, she's enforcing a no ring, no bring rule for the wedding. So since Mary is just a girlfriend and doesn't have a ring, they implied that some formality was needed and she's not invited. I reminded Brad that Mary and I have been together for longer than he has been with Vicky, and that Mary is also a friend and not just my partner. He says that he knows and he tried to talk Vicky out of it, but she's very strict with that. I let it go, and I was in a dilemma about whether I should go to the wedding or not because of that. Mary told me that she's not happy about the situation, but I should just go to avoid more drama. So I called them to tell them that I would attend. Vicky picked up the phone and said that she's sorry about making me uncomfortable by not inviting Mary, but these are the rules. I said that I respect the rules and I'm not necessarily happy about it though. She then, for some reason, started being harsh about how Mary and I are not serious enough relationship if after knowing each other for so long and being together for 6 years, we're still not engaged, and joked that after all, you never know what tomorrow brings, and I could break up with Mary anytime since we haven't shown any signs of true commitment. I confronted her and I told her that it's not her place to validate Mary and I's relationship, and that it's really low of her to use a dumb rule just to shame and micromanage long-term couples for whatever reason that haven't gotten married yet. I said I'll pass after all, and I'm not attending the wedding. She and Brad said that I'm disrespecting them and their choices by choosing Mary over their wedding day, and I said I don't care. Keep your rules and I'll keep my relationship because it's more important than any exclusive rules that only exist in order to shame people. I've been receiving a lot of backlash from other friends for that choice, and who said that I'm a jerk for being so bitter about something so small. But to me, it's not small. They invalidated Mary and my relationship. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
So much not the jerk here. This is really gross. And it's clear that Vicky is just doing this to rub it in people's faces that like, oh, you're not engaged, so you're not serious. Like, you cannot measure the committedness of a relationship by the ring status.
Yeah, I think that that's a really important thing to say. A relationship should not matter whether or not there's a ring involved, right? The how serious you are with somebody.
Like, there are people who get married on a whim and then are divorced in a week.
Yeah, and there are people who never get married and are together for 20, 30, 40, 50, forever type of situations, right? And it doesn't really say whether or not someone is committed as to whether or not they're married or engaged or any of these things. It just is a standard that society tends to use to measure the progress of a relationship and whether right or wrong.
And, Mary should have had an invite in her own right because she's part of the friend group. Like, again, they are doing this specifically to be malicious, to rub it in people's faces that, like, we're more special because we're getting married.
Yeah, and that's really what it feels like. So, no, OP, I don't think that you're a jerk, and I think that you chose correctly here.
Well, you should choose your partner over a friend's wedding if it comes down to that, assuming your partner's being reasonable.
Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Wanting a Gifted Dog? I'm a 30-year-old female and my fiance, a 32-year-old male, just gifted me a puppy on Sunday. While that sounds adorable, and I'm sure a lot of people would love that, I am not happy about it. Firstly, I'm not a dog person. I don't hate dogs, I just rather love them from afar. Secondly, we live in an apartment and already have a kitten that will be 1 next month. Thirdly, he asked if I wanted a puppy and I said no. He got it anyways for me as a gift. Fourthly, we can't even afford it. He's now calling me heartless and mean for not wanting his gift. Don't get me wrong, it's cute. However, I feel manipulated and gaslit and think it's a huge decision that we should have made together. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. You told him specifically you did not want a dog. He is doing this because he wants a dog, but he doesn't want the responsibilities of a dog. So here it's a gift, or it's because you can't say no to gifts. So if he gives it to you as a gift, there's something going on here. He knows this isn't what you want, but he wants it. And I'd say this is a giant, giant red flag for your relationship.
I say so too. I think that OP, he clearly doesn't respect your thoughts on these kinds of things here. If he really respected your opinion, then he would not have gotten you this as a gift and he would have had a more serious conversation around it. And sometimes certain pets are important to individuals. And it may be a point or a deal breaker where one person really wants a pet of a certain type and another person just cannot or does not want a pet. And there's nothing wrong with relationships not working out because of deal breakers. That's after all what they're about, right? But the fact is that he brought this pet into a relationship making it seem like this was your choice and it was a favor to you when it isn't at all. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber's got a joke.
What kind of pillar can't hold up a building?
Well, I can tell you what kind of pillar can't hold up a building. A pillar of salt can't hold up a building.
A caterpillar?
Oh, a caterpillar? Well, if it's one of the mechanized ones, like the ones with the hydraulics.
It shows a picture of a little bug trying to hold up a building.
Well, maybe if it was a very small building, then the caterpillar would be a perfect pillar for that building. I think we're just talking about scale here. Or what about a really large caterpillar on the moon? That would be able to hold up a building. Yeah. I reject their answer. I'm just kidding. And I have Mega Mint. Amber just looks disgusted with that. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Amber, we need some moral guidance, and I'll let you have a free say today.
Alright, well, I think I have to go with my moral would be do not marry someone who has a family member they act like doesn't exist. Call Child Protective Services and run.
I think that's a good moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.